Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. It is January 6th at around 8:30 a.m. and I'm going to do a little deeper dive into Bitcoin and Ethereum, talk about the current pricing and some predictions. Let's start with Bitcoin. Right now we're on looking at the monthly time frame. I thought I would zoom out and give you a kind of a look into why so many people think Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000 at some point, and it probably will, according to this chart. So over the last 11 years, on a log scale, this shows a clear, this curve shows a clear resistance point at the top. It has hit over and over and over. This curve on the bottom shows a support point that Bitcoin has retested over and over and over. Currently, we've just retested twice at all-time highs. And you notice this curve hits right at all-time highs. The other thing I want to show you is that every time it hits all-time highs, it can take a long time to get back to all-time highs. In this case, way back here, from June of 11 all the way to February of 13, I mean, you're talking almost 2 years there. The next one wasn't as long. It was a little over 200 days, so more than half a year. The next one was like basically almost 3 years from when it hit its all-time high in November 2013. Actually, it was a little over 3 years, and then hit all-time highs in December of 2017 and took about 3 years, not quite 3 years, to get back there. And most recently at all-time highs, and it only took the shortest amount of time ever in its history. Switch to the weekly chart at this point. It only took 196 days, so we're talking like 6 months to get back there. So why is this important is that right now we have retested this top curve, 11-year curve of resistance, and it's heading to the downside. If it continues down, that would be extremely bearish for quite a long time, I would imagine, because it could go down, and who knows how far. It's possible we could see 20,000 again. I kind of doubt that, but nothing is impossible in these markets. So let me switch to the next chart here and go to the daily time frame. So let me go to the fear and greed chart. Right now, we've been, as you can see, we've been in extreme fear for more than a month, and we have just dipped down to very low levels of extreme fear. Now, I've put this on the chart the last 4 times we have been in extreme fear. Last time, we're in it right now. Before that was in September when it pulled back and we launched out of it. Before that was the middle of the year in 2020, which is going to be relevant soon. I'll show you exactly why. And then before that, the last time we were in extreme fear was way back in March 20 when the COVID crash happened. Everybody was in fear. So right now we had a major pullback yesterday. I was actually in the process of making a video midday before it really dumped. It was actually hanging right around 46, a little over 46,000. But I was about to make this video to say that Bitcoin was more than likely going to retest these lower level, this dip, this liquidation wick, basically. But unfortunately, I didn't get the video out. It kind of messed up, and I took my kids to the movie. When I got out of the movie, it had dipped significantly. So as I was making that video saying, yeah, I feel pretty confident we're going to retest this liquidation wick, that candle we had on December 4th, that's when we left to go to the movie at 1 o'clock and get out of the movie and see. Sure enough, we did retest that. I wasn't expecting it to do it in the next couple hours, but it did. So it's nothing really to be too concerned about. We've seen these kind of pullbacks. This is a 36% pullback for Bitcoin. It's nothing new. I mean, last year we had this head and shoulders pattern, had this dip that was at the lowest. It was a 50% pullback. Retested again, a third time. That'll be important. In fact, every time we have had a significant liquidation right here, liquidation I'm saying is when there's a massive drop with a very, very long wick. More than likely, those are people who have been liquidated out of positions. But every time I've seen there's a huge liquidation, or almost every time I've ever seen, every time there's a huge liquidation candle, that number is retested again. That level is retested again. In July, we had this huge liquidation candle. It was retested again. Or I'm sorry, in May, and was retested again toward the end of June, and was actually retested again for the end of July before it went up. Same thing happened in September. Same thing just happened. So, you know, it's scary, but you know what's causing right now. These are not liquidation candles as much, although there were liquidations. This is more panic selling from people. Yesterday, the stock market had a huge correction for the stock market, and that fear bled over into the crypto markets, and so we saw some more selling. And in fact, look at the liquidations. This happened. This is on an hourly basis, but this happened yesterday toward the end of the day. I'm showing this because this is when there was all of a sudden when it was dropping. See how many long positions were liquidated. People expecting the price to go up. It did not. Okay, here it is on the 5-minute chart. You can see a lot of liquidations happen in a very short period, and then it stopped doing that, of course. Now, this is the current funding rates. Right now, you can see there's a lot of negative funding rates, which is actually bullish, which is why they're green. What this means, I believe, is that there are a lot of people in currently open short positions, and a lot of people are expecting the price to go down, which makes sense. We're in extreme fear. A lot of people are fearful and going short. They think the price is going to drop. So back to the chart. So some people are talking here that this is another very large head and shoulders pattern. It isn't. For it to be head and shoulders, the shoulders would have to look more similar than they are, and they're nowhere near. It never got to the same neckline, and the time period is just too small. This is not a head and shoulders pattern, but it has broken below this line of support. Not a good thing. So what's Bitcoin doing now, and what they're likely to do? This is a busy chart, so hopefully you'll bear with me as I work through it. Remember I said how the July, the middle of the year, May through July time frame is going to be. So I've copied the price action, the candles from the price action, and taken this fractal, and I've put it on the current chart. So the reason I've done that is because this has played out before a Wyckoff accumulation, and this is what that looks like. So basically, I'll just go through it very quickly without taking too much time, but basically there's a sell-off period and reaches a selling climax right here. When there's a huge pullback in the market, often there's an automatic rally. So rally very quickly. That's this automatic rally. We'll then come down to what's called a secondary test. And you'll notice this all happens in phase A. In phase B, there's a lot of sideways action, but there's usually a secondary test again. It can often go up a little higher, and these these provide some resistance lines that the price will have to get through. Some sideways action, and then usually there's another test kind of deeper, and that's what is called the spring, which sends the price upward. As the price gets upward, it has to break through lines of resistance and show some sign of strength. That's what this is in phase D. That's the most important thing in phase D, is showing signs of strength. You can see some consolidation in this example, and then it rockets up in phase E. Now back to the price. So as you can see, I've copied this. I'm going to get rid of it now because I've moved it over to the current price action. But basically, it had that same pattern. There was a huge sell-off with a climax, an automatic rally, lots of sideways action with secondary retests here and here. Then the spring phase right here, where it retests again down here in that area and then blasts off, showing that sign of strength, and then boom, just goes. That's what happened here. I'll delete that now. I've kind of overlaid this this price action, same one from July, onto current price action. You can see in December, well, we've had some bearish price action in the price. Then we had that deep pullback down for the selling climax here. It was about 42,500. Automatic rally came up to about 52,000. Sure, a lot of people went long then. And then sideways price action into phase B, into the secondary retest. We've just had that secondary test again, here and here. So right here, all the way down to, guess what, the same price, roughly 42,500. And now it would not be surprising in the least to see this go back down even again. It could go up a little. I would fully expect it will come back down, go into spring before it launches again. So if it does, that would be a third time to come down into this range, exactly like it did in the middle of last year before it launches again. Anyhow, that's what I think is going to happen for Bitcoin. You can go over to Ethereum, and you can see the price of Ethereum over time. It is bullish in the long term. If you look, these falling wedges, just like in Bitcoin, Ethereum has these falling wedge patterns. This is a large cup and handle, which did not play out. The price target for this one was 6,200. It did not do that. It broke below this line of support, so that cup and handle is now invalid. But notice every time it's had these falling wedges, which is a bullish pattern, it breaks out nicely to the upside. Yesterday, when I was making this video before we took my kids to the movie, I had just drawn in this rising wedge pattern as for the video, and I had drawn in the price target down here, basically at the bottom of the wedge, at the base of the wedge. And when I got out of the movie, it had already hit that price target out of that rising wedge pattern. We have now broken through that falling wedge pattern, which is extremely bearish, because a falling wedge pattern is a bullish pattern. You expect the price to go up the majority of the time. I believe it's very roughly about 2/3 of the time you would expect it to go up out of a falling wedge. This one, roughly 1/3 of the time it breaks below, and sure enough, if you look at the last three, broke above, broke below. This is a very bearish sign. Ethereum has also retested that liquidation low handle, and it's currently sitting right in about that range. Very bearish sign. Where's it going? Good question. I'll get back to that in a little bit. So The fear and panic selling is in full bloom, and Ethereum is also, I won't go through this again, but Ethereum is also basically playing out the same kind of Wyckoff accumulation pattern right now as we speak, and we'll have to see how it plays out. I think eventually it will play out like this. Again, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, flip back to Bitcoin for where is it likely to go? Well, let me zoom out here. Okay, so currently we've got support levels coming in right here at about 42,500. It could break a little bit of that. If it does, looking at basically 40,000. This support level right here, just under 40,000. 40K is a big round number. You're going to get a lot of buying there. That could be the point at which it just springs and heads off, which play this out perfectly. This old Wyckoff accumulation pattern from July or mid last year. If it breaks 40,000, this is a big if, but if it breaks with confirmation below 40,000, we're looking at 30,000. That would be the next level. There's really nothing of significance between 40,000 and 30,000. If it breaks through 40,000, look out 30,000. Ethereum. Well, Ethereum, it has some support along the way. Basically, in this range here, at around 3,000. Then you've got some support down here at about 2,700 or 2,800. If it breaks through those, you're looking at below 2,000, like 1,800, which is entirely possible. That's where it was mid-year last year. I'll just throw in a little ray to show this, but basically, if it breaks through that level, you're going to be looking at roughly this range right here, 1,700 to 1,800. Hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully it will blast off, retest and blast off. I think we're all hoping for that. But right now, we're in a waiting game. You have to wait and see. What will Bitcoin do? What will Ethereum do? We'll know soon. Have a great day, and you could look at this as a buying opportunity. Even if it does go down from here, I'm not suggesting you do panic selling, because if we go back to just the fear and greed chart right here, you look every time it has been in extreme fear, it has turned out to be an amazing buying opportunity with it going up afterward. Anyway, have a great day. Happy trading. Hope for the best. Hope you have a profitable 2020.